Take a quick look around you. You're surrounded by objects you use every day without a second thought. But what if those common, even boring items in your home have secrets you've never imagined? What if the gadgets, clothes, and tools you depend on have hidden features, clever designs, and genuinely surprising stories hiding in plain sight? Today, we're peeling back the layers of the mundane to reveal a world of hidden genius that's been right under your nose this whole time. We're uncovering the shocking design secrets and forgotten stories that will make you see your world a little differently. Trust me, you'll never look at these everyday items the same way again. Let's start with something you've probably held 1,000 times. A simple pen cap, like the one on a classic Bic Cristal. Ever wonder why there's a hole at the top? Most people guess it's about air pressure or keeping the ink from drying out. And while the hole does help equalize pressure, that's not its main, life-saving purpose. The real reason is a brilliant safety feature designed to prevent choking. Manufacturers know that people, especially kids, have a habit of chewing on pen caps. If someone accidentally swallows one, it can get lodged in their windpipe. That tiny hole is there to make sure that even if the cap gets stuck, a person can still breathe. This led to international safety standards, like ISO 11540, which recommend this design to minimize the danger. That tiny hole isn't a random choice. It's a deliberate piece of engineering that has literally saved lives. Millions of us put our hands on a keyboard every single day. But have you ever actually noticed those two tiny bumps on the F and J keys? And no, they aren't a manufacturing mistake. These little ridges are called homing bars, and they are the secret to typing fast without ever looking down. It's a technique called touch typing. The F and J keys are the home row, where your index fingers are supposed to rest. When you place your index fingers on those bumps, the rest of your fingers naturally fall into place. These guides let you find your hand position by feel alone, so you can keep your eyes on the screen, not on your hands. This subtle design was invented purely to boost speed and accuracy. If you look at a keyboard with a number pad, you'll find a similar bump on the 5 key for the exact same reason. It's a silent guide for your fingers, and you probably never even knew it was helping you. Alright, let's talk about the mystery drawer at the bottom of the oven. For most of us, it's the official graveyard for old baking sheets, miscellaneous pans, and that one pot lid you can never find, right? Well, in many ovens, that's not its job at all. Depending on your model, that drawer is probably one of two things. On many modern electric ovens, it's a warming drawer, made specifically to keep cooked food toasty while you finish up the rest of the meal. If your oven has a warming drawer setting, you've been missing out. On other ovens, especially many gas models, it's actually a broiler drawer, meant for getting a perfectly crispy brown top on a casserole or toasting things in a flash. Of course, on some budget models, it is just for storage. The only way to know for sure is to check your manual. Please, do it before you store your plastic containers in a broiler and create a melted kitchen nightmare. Think about your favorite pair of blue jeans. One of their most iconic features is those little copper buttons on the corners of the pockets. They're called rivets, and they're not just for looks. In fact, they're the entire reason modern jeans even exist. The story starts in the 1870s with a tailor from Nevada named Jacob Davis. He had a client whose husband kept ripping the pockets of his work pants. To fix it, Davis had a brilliant idea. He hammered small metal rivets onto the stress points, like the pocket corners, to reinforce them. The riveted pants were a massive hit with laborers because they were practically indestructible. Davis knew he was onto something big, but he didn't have the cash for a patent. So, he wrote a letter to his fabric supplier, a guy you might have heard of named Levi Strauss. Together, they patented the improvement in fastening pocket openings on the 20th of May 1873, and the blue jean as we know it was born. If you have a button-down shirt, go grab it. On the back, right between your shoulder blades, you'll probably find a small horizontal loop of fabric. This is called a locker loop, and it started as a brilliantly practical design. The idea is said to have come from sailors on the East Coast who had to store their clothes in cramped lockers on hooks, not hangers. This little loop let them hang their shirts up without wrinkling them. The trend then jumped ashore in the 1960s when the clothing brand Gant added it to their Oxford shirts, which became a huge hit with Ivy League students. Guys used the loops to hang their shirts in gym lockers to keep them from getting rumpled. For a while, it was even part of a quirky dating culture. A guy might snip off his loop to signal he was taken. Today, it's mostly a nod to the past, but it's a cool reminder of a time when a simple loop was a clever life hack. Staring out an airplane window at 35,000 feet is amazing, but have you ever noticed that tiny hole at the very bottom of the glass? Seeing a hole in a window while you're flying that high might seem a little concerning, but that little dot, called a bleed hole, is critical for your safety. An airplane window is actually 3 separate panes of acrylic. There's an outer pane, an inner pane, the one you can touch, and a middle pane, which is where the hole is. As a plane climbs, the air pressure outside drops dramatically while the cabin stays pressurized. This creates immense force on the windows. The bleed hole acts as a tiny valve, allowing the pressure between the outer and middle panes to equalize. This smart design ensures the outer pane takes most of the stress. As a bonus, it also lets moisture escape, which is why your window doesn't fog or frost over, so you can keep enjoying that incredible view. That fluffy ball on top of your winter hat, the pom-pom, seems like it's just for fun, right? Well, it actually has a long and surprisingly practical history. One of its most famous jobs was on the heads of 19th century French sailors. The ceilings on old warships were incredibly low, and in rough seas, sailors would constantly bang their heads. The pom-pom on their hats served as a built-in cushion to soften the blow. But the history goes back even further. In the 18th century, different European armies used pom-poms on soldiers' hats to show which regiment they belonged to. Some evidence even suggests the tradition could go as far as the Viking Age, based on a statue of the Norse god Freyr found wearing a helmet with a distinct pom-pom on top. So, what we think of as a cute fashion choice was once a piece of military gear and a practical safety device. From life-saving designs to clever historical hacks, our world is packed with genius hiding in plain sight. So, did any of these surprise you? And what other objects have you always looked at and wondered, what's the deal with that? Let us know in the comments below. If you learned something new, hit that like button, and be sure to subscribe for more secrets hidden in our everyday world. The next time you cap your pen, pull on your jeans, or glance out an airplane window, take an extra second. You're not just using an object. You might be holding a piece of history, a feat of engineering, or a story that was just waiting to be told. The world is full of these hidden wonders. Sometimes, you just have to know where to look. Thanks for watching.